guys, buckle up for a brand new episode of Below the Iceberg, the one and only podcast where we talk to real life 2Comma Club winners. Whether you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, a wannabe entrepreneur, or you've been in business for a while, you're sure to pick up tidbits of actionable advice from these million-dollar entrepreneurs. Now, if you don't know what a 2Comma Club winner is, it is where they have built one funnel inside the Clickfunnels software and they have sold $1 million through just that one funnel, which is just an absolutely fantastic achievement. Now, in today's episode, I am really excited to be talking with Dana Derricks, who unexpectedly catapulted himself into this $1 million club. Now, he has achieved 4 2Comma Club awards now. So let's dive in and find out what he does and how he achieved 4 awards and all the unexpected things that have happened along this path to the coveted $1 million funnel. So welcome, Dana. It's absolutely awesome for you to come and join me today.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Cool. So massive congratulations on getting a 2Comma Club award.
Thank you.
What I like to do with my guests is I like to go do a bit of investigating and see their social profiles and see how big their profiles are, because it gives our listeners a really good indication on how people's profiles are and how they can still achieve the 2Comma Club award. So I had a look. Facebook, you've got about 22,000 followers on your Facebook page. Yeah?
Sounds right. One of them, yep.
One of them. Instagram, about 1,200 followers.
Yeah, I just found my login like a couple weeks ago. So yep.
TikTok, have you just started your TikTok?
Just started.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's fun. I don't know, it's fun. Yeah.
I love a bit of TikTok. But the other profiles, I couldn't find many other profiles. YouTube, about 1,000 subscribers, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So what is your main social platform that you like?
So as far as my best performing social platform, which isn't social media, but I'll just say it's my email list. So I have just about 90,000 email subscribers. That's where I spend a lot of my focus and energy.
All right, okay.
But as far as actual social media channels go, Facebook group, I think it is phenomenal. It's been a huge source of business for us over the years.
All right, okay. So how many people have you got in your Facebook group?
Just about 3,300.
All right, okay.
In our Dream 100 official. Yep.
Right, okay. So your business is called the Dream 100.
It is.
Yeah. Do you want to tell our listeners exactly what the Dream 100 is?
Sure. So if you are not familiar, you've never heard the phrase Dream 100 before, that's okay. It's probably something that you've done in the past or that you do now, and you just didn't know that there's a word for it. So the Dream 100 really is creating intentional relationships that are value driven with other people, other businesses, in which you exchange value over and over and over, and the goal is to just level each other up. So the Dream 100 is, it can mean many things, but from a practical standpoint, choose 100 people that you can level up with, and then go and provide value to them, their communities, their world, and then they will return the favor somehow. Most of them will, and you're all going to level up together. So that's kind of what the Dream 100 is.
All right, okay. So can you think back to your 2Comma Club award? When did you?
Of course.
When did you get that?
So I have 4.
Oh wow!
5.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you. So the first one. So for context, I've been doing this for 13 years. So I did not earn a 2Comma Club award until probably like year 7. So
right, okay.
It doesn't happen overnight. And I remember the first time I earned my first 2Comma Club award. It was a pretty special moment for me because I had actually invested a lot of time, effort, energy, money into trainings and programs and coaching and mentorship, masterminds, etc. And I really didn't see an ROI for quite a while. It was a couple of years.
Right.
And so when I finally got that $1 million, hit that mark, it was pretty much like the epitome of hard work pays off. So there's no better feeling as far as if that's the goal you're looking to achieve, to just keep going and grinding every single day to get there.
So hitting the 2Comma Club, was that your goal?
Oh yeah, that was definitely a goal.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the story. So I actually, in my office, in another room, there is a wall that I took a permanent marker and I drew on the wall a 2Comma Club with my name on it.
Oh, right,
award
okay.
in permanent marker. Okay. And I had paints that we painted over everything, and I told the painters, do not even think about painting over that marker. So to this day, the wall has the 2Comma Club marker, and it's white in the background, but everything else is blue. We painted. So that is how deeply I wanted and set as as far as a goal to getting that award. Yes.
So when did you set the goal for that? Can you remember how before you achieved it?
I think it took probably like 14 months, something like that. It was not very fast, but we pushed and we made it happen.
So when it happened, did you know when it happened, or did it pass you by and then you realized, or?
Definitely more so the passing by than realized. Because that's the thing is, like, people, there's two types of people that, set for the goal of getting a 2Comma Club award. There's the type of people that are gonna sit there and refresh their stats every day and look at every penny that they make and then wait until they hit 1 million. And there's the other people that are actually out there doing the work, providing value, doing the things, and then you're not focused on just the money portion, you focus on the people portion, and it's a whole lot faster and easier, or it's not easier but faster to do it that way. So we were like nose down and we came up for air, and it was like, oh wow, we did it.
So when you realized, what did you do? Did you have a celebration? Did you dance around the office?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was amazing. And that's another thing I think is, many people are not going to do this alone. So, I mean, if you look at success leaves clues, right? So I'm not saying you have to have a team of 20 to get a 2Comma Club, but you're probably going to have at least another person or a couple of people on your team. And if you involve them in it and you share the win with them, it makes it so much sweeter and better and more fun for everybody.
Cool. So let's do a little rewind now. I like to do this with my guests. I'm going to take you back to your childhood. So what did your childhood look like?
You sure you want to do that? All right. So my childhood, I was definitely different than all the other kids. I was a little entrepreneur, didn't know it. I grew up on a small dairy farm in Wisconsin, hated every minute of baling hay and feeding cows and milking cows. So I knew there had to be a better way. And that's what kind of put me into the entrepreneurial world. Had an uncle that sold stuff on eBay. So I kind of let him mentor me and show me how to do that. And pretty soon I started figuring out how to make money on the internet and could make more working on the computer than I would have baling hay and doing chores. So that was kind of that was what pushed me into it.
So how old were you when you started doing that?
I was probably about 10 when I first started selling on eBay.
So when you were that age, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I think I wanted to be like an NFL football player.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you started selling stuff on eBay. What were you selling?
It started off with just kind of like my old toys and baseball cards and anything my parents didn't want. And then it kind of evolved into going out to garage sales, finding things that were of value, selling them. And then it evolved into I started building computers and selling computers on eBay, and kind of went from there.
All right. Okay. So did you go to college then when you finished school?
I did.
And what did you do?
So I went to college on a football scholarship. So that was a pretty big deal for me. And I, in college, in my dorm room, I was running an e-commerce business, and I was literally packaging boxes, and half the room was full of boxes and shipping stuff. And my poor roommate he just didn't know what the hell I was doing. And so pretty soon the like RAs and administration caught wind of this, and they came in and they said, Danny, you cannot run a commercial business out of your dorm room. We're gonna need to shut this down. So I did. I shut it down, and actually sold that business at that point, and then continued on in kind of my football, refocused on football. And then toward the end of my college days, I retired, hung up the cleats playing football, and refocused on my business. And that's when I started taking that a lot more seriously. One of the pivotal moments in my life was I had an evening class that was 4 hours long. And then I went to Taco Bell afterwards, and starving, desperate, and I swiped my card for like $6 and it was declined. I didn't have $6 to my name to feed myself. So the very next morning I went and got a credit card with a $500 limit thanks to MasterCard, and I went to Barnes and Noble, and I literally filled a shopping cart full of books, anything in the business book section, from anything I could get my hands on. I maxed out that credit card. I bought all the books. For the next 6 months I read every single book, and my senior year in college I was making $336,000 as a freelancer, as an entrepreneur, which is more than every single other person on campus, including the president. And the rest kind of just took care of itself.
So you read, let's rewind a little bit. So you were doing the e-commerce from your dorm room. What were you selling then?
It was a specialty product. It's called spatting tape. So very common in football players.
All right.
When you put your cleats on, and then there's a special type of stretchy tape that you put over top of the cleats, and it protects the cleats, and it kind of gives your ankles support. So that's what I was selling.
All right. Okay. So was there a specific, you bought all these books, was there a specific book that made it happen?
Yeah. So the first book I read, it was like something about managing people, and it was terrible, and I hated it. So I was like, uh-oh. Second book I read was a book by a guy named Dan Kennedy, and it introduced me into the world of copywriting. I didn't even realize that I had already been copywriting, and I was a God-given gift of writing, and I could focus on that and kind of go down Dan's world. And I was able to like very quickly build a very impressive freelance copywriting business because of that. Another book that was in the pile, luckily for me, was a book called .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. That changed my life. I 2x'd, literally overnight, 2x'd my business because I just literally started upselling my copywriting clients. Never thought to do that. There's more, but those were kind of the two really pivotal books that changed my life.
All right. Okay. So you started copywriting as the freelancer.
That was where I started. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get your first customer?
Well, I was doing everything and then some before that. So I tried literally everything. So I mean, all the way back from trying to affiliate market on Warrior Forum, to working on Fiverr, doing logos, making horrendous logos for $5, just doing the best I could on the school's version of Photoshop. And then I think, I got one thing led to another. I got onto Upwork, the freelancer site, and I just started bidding on projects and just trying to get something, and finally I started landing clients. And then I landed a client that was an Amazon seller, and I did some projects for him, and I made him a lot of money, like really helped him out. And then I realized, like, hey, like, this is a great gig on Upwork, but I'm working with everyone under the sun, from a dentist to e-commerce seller to I kid you not, I had a client that I got on a Zoom call with, or a Skype call back in the day, and I'm like, so what is it you sell? And he's like, we sell dead rats. And I'm like, like, real funny, like, come on, what do you sell? He's like, no, really, Dana, we sell dead rats at dead mice. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, no, it's a really good business. He's like, we freeze dry them and we mail them to the homes of reptile owners. And I was like, wow, this is half really awesome, but it's half like, is this the low point in my career for me? Like, what am I doing? So I realized, like, okay, as cool as it is to sling dead rats, it's probably a little bit better if I like focus on a niche. And so I kind of started narrowing down my niche. I did so well with that one Amazon seller that I just said, why don't I just start planting my flag as an Amazon e-commerce, copywriter? And so I actually coined my own sort of title, and I became the #1 Amazon listing optimization specialist on the planet. And then I started getting really busy really quickly because, my first client would talk to his buddies and then they would want to hire me. And it really got busy and crazy very quickly.
So you were doing the descriptions for their products, is that?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the titles, bullet points. Yep.
All right. Okay, cool. So how long did you do that for?
I did that for probably like 7 years. Made a lot of money, got really burnt out in the process, made a lot of mistakes with, I've always been a really, quality first. I don't like people's business model where they sell the service as if they're doing it and then they farm it out to a $10 an hour intern or something. I don't like that. So I got too busy, too overwhelmed. And then I realized, like, dude, my clients are making so much money off of my copy. Like, how hard can it be to like get my own Amazon products and do this? So then I launched my own Amazon business with obviously with my skill set. And within year 1, we had a pet supplements company. I literally was able to hire my mom, my aunt, and my cousin, like get them all out of their jobs they hated. They started producing the supplements for me. We grew like crazy. It started in the attic of my aunt's house, quickly moved into a $2,500 square foot facility. And we were cranking out almost 1,500 bottles a day, which is just, it was crazy explosive growth, 7 figures in the first year. Got out of hand quickly. And what do you know, that ended up kind of crashing and burning too, because I don't think my gift back then was as much as managing a business and people as it was growing it, or just getting sales. So I went from helping all the other Amazon sellers make so much money to making it on my own for quite a while. And then that I transitioned into kind of more of the coaching and the like info products for Amazon sellers, as opposed to me doing it for them. And
right. Okay. So what made you choose pet supplements then for when you did your own?
I was up at night. I knew I needed to try and kind of find something else to pivot into. And I was on Craigslist on the business for sale section. And divinely, I found this lady out of Vermont was selling her pet supplements. She was very good at creating the formulas and the products, horrible at marketing, had no idea how to market and sell it. So it was like a match made in heaven. So I bought it from her for like $4,500 or something. I got a really good deal. She was happy to see it live on and grow into this big thing. And it still lives on today, actually. So
did you sell it on to somebody else then? I
did. Yep. So I had a great network that I built in the Amazon seller space. So it was very easy for me to sell it quickly to a dear friend of mine, and they still own it and run it today.
All right. Okay. So if there's any Amazon sellers listening, what's the key then when you start a new Amazon business? What's the magic?
All right. So I'm gonna tell you 2 things. I'm gonna tell you the magic, and then I'm gonna tell you the cold, harsh reality that nobody talks about. Which do you want first?
We'll have the magic first.
All right. So the magic it's pretty simple. What people do wrong is they try and find this like niche product that like no one else is selling. And it's like, oh, I could make by millions if I just find this product that no one else is selling, because Amazon's getting diluted, right? Too many products. The problem is that's the wrong mindset to have. You need to find what is people are already buying, right? Because you can't just invent demand, right? Just because you go find a product that no one else is selling, there's probably a reason for that. Maybe it's because there's not a market for it, right? Just like in my town, if somebody brought in, I don't know, like something that like, let's say somebody brought in a business that sold yachts. Like no one's gonna buy the yachts. We don't have water big enough for the yacht to even, to be on. So it's like, maybe that's a sign that, oh, that's not good that no one's selling this. So on the flip side, look at the products that are already selling well. Okay. That's what people are buying. That's where the market is. So all you have to do, you can get the same product as them from AliExpress. Like, it's not that hard. All you have to do is do a better job of setting up your listing. So if you're an Amazon seller, it's really a matter of optimizing your listing. And 90% of sellers do a horrible job of this. Even when they hire people, I was in the space. People are terrible at it, even the professionals or experts, right? So just make sure that you know how to set up and optimize your listing. And it doesn't matter what you sell, as long as you're selling something people are already buying. You just have to beat the majority of those people trying to sell it. So that's really the magic.
Right.
The cold hard truth about e-commerce and Amazon especially is, what they don't tell you is you are not going to make money until you stop growing or you sell the business. Okay, and here's why. So let's say you start with 500 units. You set up your listing, optimize it, it's great. You sell out of those 500, you get close to it. You got to send not 500 back. You got to send now 1,000 on the next inventory run. So you sell those 1,000. Things are going great. You're selling out. But now you got to send 2,000 units in. Then you sell those 2,000. Oh, now you got to send 5,000 units in. Guess where all your profits are going? They're going into your inventory.
Buy more
Guess
stock. Yeah.
even more so is, most likely when you go from 2,000 to 5,000, that's a huge jump. Guess who's paying for that? Who's fronting that? It's going to be you. So not only are you not going to start making money until you stop growing or, declining, you're likely going to have to go into your own pocket to fund the growth. Now there's a lot of complexities to that, but that's what people don't tell you. When you have an e-commerce business with inventory, it's not like you're going to be able to just pull cash out while it's growing and scaling. And then what are you going to want to do when it is growing and scaling? You want to get another SKU in there, another SKU in there. You're going to keep pushing it and pushing it up. And what I discovered is that's not feasible for everybody. Yeah. So I know these programs sell this dream that everybody's going to be a millionaire on Amazon, but like the reality is there's some people that's not a model they should be running.
Awesome. That's good. So you did that. So when you stopped that, what happened next then? How did you go into the coaching? You said you went into coaching.
Yeah. So I kind of took what I discovered in writing copy for Amazon sellers and then being an Amazon seller successfully, and realized that I would like to help people keep doing this Amazon thing, optimizing their listings, but I need to do it in a scalable way for me. I don't want to get burnt out working one-on-one anymore. So I came out with my first book is the Amazon Listing Optimization Workbook. It basically shows you how to do it instead of me doing it for you. I show you how to fish instead of catching the fish. I sold that I still sell it for $397, so $397 for a book. Pretty crazy. And then I came up with a sequel that helps to optimize the email follow-up sequences, to maximize reorders, minimize refund requests, maximize 5-star reviews, etc. Sold that for $1,500 per copy. Sold many of them. I've sold over 1,000 of my first book at $400 a copy to almost 70 countries and counting. And had a really good run. Enjoyed doing that for quite a while, and then kind of joined Mastermind with a guy named Russell Brunson, and I kind of realized I needed to kind of play bigger. And although I did well in the Amazon space, I thought it was time. I need to help everybody. I need to help entrepreneurs, business owners of all shapes and sizes, not just Amazon sellers. And that's kind of how I transitioned out of that and into the Dream 100.
Right. Okay. So when you were doing the Amazon coaching, were you using Clickfunnels then?
Yes, I've been using Clickfunnels. I was one of their first users.
All right. Okay. So how did you come across Clickfunnels?
Through the book .com Secrets that Russell wrote.
So when you found that book, when was that then?
Man,
books?
I can't remember when the .com Secrets first came out, but it was whenever it was first published.
All right. Okay. So when you read the book, then you got the software.
Oh yeah.
So then, So were you doing a book funnel then for your coaching?
Yes, I've actually authored 13 books.
Oh wow!
And I've got a book funnel for nearly all of them. Yep.
So how did people find you? Were you running ads? What were you doing?
I was doing the Dream 100. So some things I would do, I've done a lot of webinars. So I did a lot of webinars back in the day in the Amazon seller space. I would also do podcast appearances kind of like this. I would speak from stage. I would be a guest contributor for people's summits, and just kind of getting myself out there and Dream 100ing my way to getting more eyeballs in my world.
All right. Okay. So what did you get your first 2Comma club with?
That would have been the Amazon books and coaching.
All right. Okay. So when you did that, so was it group coaching?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yep. How many staff did you have then when you were doing that?
I had like 7 full-time in-house W-2 employees.
So did you run any ads then, or was it all just doing other platforms?
Oh, I had 3 of my 7 were one was my Dream 100 manager. So she would set up kind of the affiliate. She would set up my podcast interviews, my webinars, my all these appearances, speaking gigs, etc. And then 2 of my other team members were in direct support of her. So they would be doing the research, they'd be doing some of the outreach, etc. So between those 3 people, that kept us more than full as far as getting people into our world.
Oh, cool. So there was no ad spend.
There was not.
Very good. So how many people did you think you put through the Amazon business? Did you shut that down then, or did you the coaching, or did you sell that to somebody else? Or
so I don't really do the Amazon specific coaching anymore. I still have my books. They still sell. Like to this day, I don't do any promotion for them because I've Dream 100 so well. Besides the Amazon stuff that still lives on, I do now have the Dream 100 stuff. So it's kind of a similar sort of playbook we're running, but now with the Dream 100 books, the Dream 100 software, the Dream 100 vault, all that good stuff, my consulting, etc.
So did you join? So when you said, did you join Russell's inner circle? Is it, or 2CCX?
Yes,
or?
I joined his inner circle. Yep.
Yeah. Did you do 2CCX first?
No, 2CCX wasn't around when I joined the inner circle. It was just the inner circle.
Okay. So when you joined the inner circle, that's when you decided you were going to start the Dream 100. Go for it. Yes,
definitely. Russell looked at me and said, like, Dana, you need to plant your flag in the ground as the Dream 100 guy. And I said, okay, I can follow your direction on that.
So with the Dream 100 then, so how did that actually start? What did you start doing? Obviously you started Dream 100 in people, but
yeah. So the backstory on that, this book right here, The Ultimate Sales Machine by a guy named Chet Holmes. That was where I was first introduced to the phrase Dream 100. There's a chapter, I think chapter 6, he talks about it. And immediately I was like, oh my goodness, there's a word, there's a name for the thing that I do and that I've always done. And then I started scouring. I'm like, I need to find every single thing I can find, course, book, anything on Dream 100. And there was nothing. There was like nothing. So I was like, wow, I think that I need to do this. Like I've been Dream 100ing, like my Dream 100 manager, like had been Dream 100ing. We did millions of dollars without even realizing that's the name of what we were doing is Dream 100ing. So then I realized I got to really, start putting this on the map and going deeper into this for people. And so I wrote the Dream 100 book, which Russell Brunson wrote the foreword to, and he says, quote, "This is the foundation for our entire company." So that's how critical the Dream 100 is. And so then I went on to create Dream 100 Challenge. I wrote 2 more books. I've got a prequel and a sequel to the Dream 100 book. I've got created a Dream 100 launch program, did a Dream 100 mastermind, and now we've recently come out with Dream 100 software. So we've been all in on the Dream 100.
All right. Okay. So what's the Dream 100 software then?
So basically what it does is it takes the manual work out of Dream 100ing, and it holds you accountable, you and your team, to making deals happen and closing deals. So the first thing that everybody has problems with is figuring out who is your Dream 100. So software helps you to do that, and then put them all into a neat, organized place. It's not like a spreadsheet. It's an actual place where people have a profile. You can put notes in, and then there's a place where you can actually have checklists. So it's like, all right, I need, like, what's my dream outcome? Is it to, let's say, get on John Lee Dumas's podcast, right? Let's say that that's what we're trying to do. Well, what are the steps I need to do in order to make that happen? And then you put the steps literally right there in a checklist, and you and your team can literally go through and basically go through each step and force yourself to get that dream outcome if you follow through with it. And then you can set reminders in there. So let's say that, you need to follow up with him in a week, or his team in a week. You set a reminder. As soon as you log into the software, it, boom, shows you exactly who you need to have as far as follow-ups. You can also save your scripts right in the software. So in one click, you have your script copied. You click again, and you can open up a email composition window, a messenger window, et cetera, et cetera. So you can literally send messages that are personalized to them one-to-one via a script, and leverage, and in what used to take hours now takes minutes, and you and your team can knock it all out. I have them do 90% of it. I just kind of take care of the last 10%. But basically, it gives you a lot of leverage, and takes all the manual work and thinking out of Dream 100.
Cool. Sounds pretty good.
Thank you. We worked hard on it. It is pretty awesome.
So what do you think's been your biggest hurdle that you've had to overcome on your entrepreneurial journey?
I'd say just like the loneliness of being different. So I'm sure there's others out there that are watching or listening that within their family, first, you are not, you don't fit in. You're very different. You think differently. You take bigger risks. It's like you say an idea that you have, and then like, it's like your family just is sitting there, like you put the idea out there, like it's this balloon, and they're just all sitting there shooting it down. Like they're just boom, 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 all of them just shooting it down. It's like, wow, all right, I guess according to you, I shouldn't even do that. I should probably just go back to bed. Like, it's like, wow, that backfired. So like, first of all, it's the loneliness within your family. Know that it's okay. Like, there are certain family members I don't even talk about my business with, because although they're well-intended, they don't know how to support me. They don't understand it. They're very different. So they're just different. So maybe that's not a topic you should have discussions with them with. And I see people get so frustrated with that. And it's okay. Like, it's okay to not understand each other. That's okay. And then I'd say, taking that a step further, the loneliness of, like, I don't know where you live per se, those that are watching or listening, but I live in an area. I'm not in San Francisco. I'm not in Austin, Texas. I'm not somewhere where I can go to the coffee shop and find a like-minded entrepreneur. Right. I live in the northwoods of Wisconsin. If I went in and try to explain what I did and how much money I made at a local coffee shop, I probably would like get attacked or something. I don't know. It wouldn't end well, I'll tell you that. So finding a community of like-minded people, like for me, Clickfunnels has been amazing. It's very necessary. And that doesn't mean you have to spend a ton of money, but you do need to be part of something, because otherwise you're all alone, and it's not sustainable. So and then lastly with that, like, you got to get to the live events. I know it's a pain in the rear, and it's getting harder by the day, and I get it, and the world is crazy, but that to me is like recharging my battery. So even if you have to attend virtually, you got to do it, and you got to find people that you can have further discussions with and build relationships with, and to be able to lean on them, because your network is going to be ultimately it's equivalent to your speed. The speed that you get to where you want to go is pretty much what your network is going to dictate. So the loneliness factor is my answer.
Okay, cool. So it's definitely who you hang around with matters, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So have you ever thought, has there ever been a time, since thinking back to when you first started, like your eBay, way back when, has there ever been a time where you thought about giving up?
Many times. That honestly, I don't think that ever goes away. Like, I still have those feelings once in a while. So if you guys are having those feelings, just know it's really okay. And don't expect that to just vanish. Even when you make money, like, your problems don't go away, they just change, right? It's like they're different. So Absolutely. Have I thought about giving up many times, many times.
What made you keep going?
I think for me, it was, I've always had this kind of in the back of my mind, like realization that I was kind of put here to do more than your average person, because I was given gifts and skills that others aren't. And I mean that in a humble and I mean that in a, like, with humility. I don't say that arrogantly. I just say, like, I knew I have gifts, and I think it's the thought of wasting those gifts and letting people down. Because, and I mean, what I mean by that is, like, there's people out there that I need to help. Like there's people that I need to reach still. And if I quit, I'm letting those people down. And if you look back to, like, when you were a kid or when you were starting out, like, I can name so many times that somebody grabbed me by the shoulder and helped me out, right? Like even simple things like, you know, I had in college, I was given a scholarship because I was identified as a potential business owner one day. And so I got to sit down with a former alumni from the university that was a successful business owner, and just having that little tiny discussion and validation, like, Dana, you're just like me, you can do this. There's no reason you can't. Like, I want to do that for somebody else. And that's why giving up it's just can't be an option, because you're going to take that away from somebody else, and that's not fair to them.
Yeah, that's good. I like it. So which funnel do you think has been the best one for you? What type of funnel?
Book funnels. It's ridiculous. I've had private discussions with big time friends, Alex Hormozy, Russell Brunson. Like, there's really nothing that can beat a book funnel.
Okay, so when you have a book funnel, so people opt in for, like, the free plus shipping, yeah, or the low ticket book.
Yep.
And then what happens? What do you upsell them to then?
Yeah, so it really depends on what you have to sell, and then what are your goals. So, like, when I was starting out, I would upsell, like, my service. Like, I would say, hey, you got the book, but you want me to do it. You want, like, the man himself to do it for you. And then I would, try and sell service packages on the back of the book,
Right.
back end of the book funnel. But now it's like, or is that something like, do you need clients? Like, go for that. Or do you want to have a scalable funnel where it's like, all right, here's my course. Like, I've got a course that is a perfect add-on to this book. It really depends on kind of what you have and then what you're looking to do as far as what you're upselling. But a practical takeaway is, like, how to sell, like, how do you frame the upsell? It's very simple. Your book solves a problem. Okay. You need to frame it that way. What is the main problem your book is going to solve? All right, cool. Remember what I said earlier, problems don't go away. They just change, right? And they get better, but they change. What is the new problem that's been introduced by solving the old problem that your book solved for them? So let me give you an example. All right, cool. Let's say that you buy a book on weight loss, right? And the book promises to get you to lose 40 pounds, get down 5 sizes, something like that. Awesome. That problem's gone. I'm now lighter, I'm thinner, feeling great, but I have a new problem, a good problem, but I have a new problem. My clothes don't fit. Right? So the perfect next natural upsell would be, and here is our masterclass on going and shopping for your new body and getting the perfect clothing for your new body, right? Something like that. And what's really cool about that is not only is it the most, like, natural and sensible thing to buy, but it also gives a lot more believability in the book actually solving that problem, because almost nobody talks about, well, what's the next problem? They just talk about, oh, it's going to be just roses and it's going to be amazing, you're going to be skinny. But then it's like, well, yeah, but my pants won't stay on. Like, that's a good problem, I'll take that, but it's a problem. So the next thing that you should sell in your book funnel is the solution to the new problem that they're going to have.
Next problem. Yeah. Good. So how did you get people into your Facebook group? Did you bring them in through your funnel?
Yep. So the Facebook group is a free bonus for anybody that buys the book. I do not do free Facebook groups. I know some people do. I personally think that it is not as good as a paid group or a group of buyers only. So that's hence why I have 3,300 people in my Facebook group. I could have a free group that has lots and lots more, but I have chosen to go after just the buyers of my books for my group.
All right. Okay. What made you have that decision then? How did you decide that when everybody else is doing mainly free groups?
So it's, first of all, it's like the amount of work and resources that go into moderating and managing a large group of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. That's tremendous. And second of all, it's kind of like anything else where if someone's not buying from you, like those that pay attention, right?
Yeah.
So you could offer, like I could offer right now, a consulting day for free to somebody that I charge $25,000 to others for, and they could come and they could get it, and they probably wouldn't take it seriously. They wouldn't apply much of it at all, if any, versus somebody that paid the $25,000. They're going to show up. They're going to do what I tell them, because why? They have 25K on the line. They're not going to, blow that off. Yeah. So the freebie, the free people, obviously there's a time and a place for them. But as far as my strategy, I'd rather go kind of deeper, not wider. And I'd rather go deep on those people that have invested with me in my book. And it's certainly worked out pretty well.
So do you have a morning routine that you do every day?
Yes. So I've actually been optimizing that lately. So first things first is I don't know, do you get much into like biohacking stuff or?
Not really. Don't know much about that.
I'm not deep in it, but I do certain things that I think are practical and that aren't gimmicky. So first of all, I have an Aura ring. It tracks your sleep, mostly is what I use it for. So it's this fancy ring that, you wear at night, and it tells you how you slept. So my morning actually starts the night before. Okay. So I want to make sure I get a good amount of sleep, and the type of sleep matters. So an Aura ring will tell you how much sleep you got, what your resting heart rate was, how much REM sleep versus deep sleep, and all those things matter. And you'll start to optimize your nighttime routine / sleeping habits.
All from a ring?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Is it connected to an app?
Yep.
You see, because you can do that on a watch, can't you? But I don't like wearing a watch to bed, so I've never done it.
Yeah, the ring is so comfortable you barely feel it. Oura, Aura ring. And so I will wake up. My first thing I do is I check my sleep, and if I'm scored like 90 plus, I'm like, game on, like today is mine. So I know that's crazy and that's totally placebo probably, but I like it. It's a great start to my day. I know that I did the right things and I'm ready to rock and roll.
But what happens if it's lower? What do you do then? Go back to sleep.
Thankfully it's rarely is, but I can pinpoint why, and then I can tell myself can't do that again. So it's like, it's kind of cool. It's like, what not to eat or drink, or interruptions, etc., bedtime, etc. So that is just, I think for a morning routine, that's like the best thing you can do. But as far as the actual routine goes, I'll just kind of quickly say like I have a protein shake. So I do intermittent fasting now my own way. So it's so much easier than eating breakfast. It's just like, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to take any time. So that's awesome. I take my vitamins and all that in the morning. And then I work out. So I drive to my office. I've got a gym on the other side of my office. I work out and I listen to courses and mastermind stuff that I'm in while I'm doing that. And then I have another protein shake, and then it's about 10:30, 11 a.m. And I am ready to rock and roll and work. And I haven't eaten a thing, and I've already gotten 100 grams of protein, and I'm not hungry, and my body is rejuvenating because I'm fasting without even really trying. Then I'm ready to rock and roll by 11.
Cool. Do you do any meditation or anything like that?
I tried that for a while. It's not my thing.
No?
For me, and I know people that swear by it, and I probably should have tried harder. I do the sauna. I've got a sauna at my house, a dry sauna.
All right.
And for me, that's kind of like my meditation. I really enjoy that. It's quiet, it's dark, it's just calm, it's warm. Yeah.
Cool. So what would you class as your biggest achievement in your entrepreneurial journey?
Oh man. I think the amount of people that have reached out and thanked me in one way or another, whether it's, the person that just said, hey, I appreciate you believing in me, or all the way up to, hey, I just sold my company for $100 million and I wanted to thank you for all the tips you gave me, all the consulting, all of the coaching, etc. So I think just the sheer magnitude of people reaching out with appreciation is what I'm the most proud of.
Yeah, good. And what is your focus for 2022 now then?
Great question. So 2022 for me is all about less is more and simple. Simple is the new, I don't know, the new cool thing to do. So, gosh, I've come to realize now, like even in my past when I consulted other people and stuff, like I never did a good enough job of simplifying things for people. And I realize now, like that's half the battle, because attention's so hard to get and keep now that if people have to go like 7 different places and do all these things, it's just you're gonna lose in 2022 and beyond. So like, for example, got a great client of mine who wanted to hired me to write some copy for them, and they wanted to build a funnel for it. And I looked at their situation, I looked at their website, and it's like, that's adding, I'm all about funnels, but in this scenario, it's just adding a layer of complexity that we don't need. We can do the same thing with just adding another page on your website. And that way people don't have to, it's like they don't have to go to a funnel and like go through all the funnel steps and then come back to the website anyway and Google it and try and find other things, and like just keep them all right there. Make it simple. One click, they're on the page. They want to browse around, it's all right there for them. You don't need to go build this extra thing. You don't have to, deal with all the tech behind it. Just keep it simple. And that type of thing is just, it's worth so much. That's my focus for 2022 for myself and clients.
Right. Okay. Yes. It can get a bit out of hand. Funnel pages can go crazy.
I am the worst offender of that, so I get it.
Okay. I got one last question for you. If you were going to be an animal for 24 hours, what would you be and why?
I really like that question. I think I have to go with a goat. And the reason for that is because I have goats.
Oh, right.
And
Okay.
I really, really would like to know what the heck goes on in their head, because they are so weird and they are so naughty and hard to keep in their pen and just demanding. So I would just love to know. And maybe if I was a goat for a day, I wouldn't want to come back and think, wow, this is pretty sweet. Maybe I just want to stay a goat. But you don't know until you try, right?
How many goats have you got?
5. We slimmed the herd down to 5.
Oh, wow. What do they do? Do they try and escape all the time?
Yes. They literally so they've got almost an acre pen, which for 5 goats, I've had somebody tell me like, Dana, you could easily fit 20 in that pen. So it's not like they have a lack of room, right? So they go all day long. You can see them doing it. They will like scrape their side against the fence to try and find a little tiny weak spot. And then when they do, they will headbutt it. They'll lean up against it. They'll push their face into it until they get it open just enough that they can squeeze their body out. Because it's like the grass is greener. They just want that grass on the other side of the fence, even though it's no better than what they already have. That's what they do all day. So
that's funny. Oh, so I want to thank you so much for chatting with me today. If anybody's interested in finding more out about your Dream 100, where do they need to go?
So if you're not familiar with the Dream 100, best place to go, there's a lot of cool stuff, resources, etc. at d100.com. So the letter D for dream, d100.com. And if you are familiar or you go get familiar and you want to kind of go further into it and try out the software and stuff, we've got a 14-day trial at joindream100.com. There's a bunch of more awesome free resources there as well. So those are the two places.
Awesome. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review and subscribe to the podcast on your podcast software. It really helps us rank the podcast and get more listeners. And if you're over on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell. Every Friday, 8 a.m. GMT, we release a brand new episode. And until then, have a good one.